Have you ever asked the question, why me? Why me? Why? How come it happened to me? You know, when things happened in our life, a lot of times we thought, my things is the most important thing. My situation is the most difficult situation. And at that time, it's easy for you to say, oh Lord, why me? Have you asked that kind of question? Me. I did. Randy is a 38-year-old. He looked like a kid, but he is a 38-year-old.
Wow.
You know, my husband and I, we have married for soon will be 50 years. Almost 50 years. Next year, it's 50 years. Now it's 49. And when we first got married, we were talking about having family. And my husband and I, we said, well, I don't know how many kids we're going to have. I said, well, I don't care. We have boys or girls, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as they are healthy, right? As long as they are healthy. And I said, well, you know, I told my husband, I said, you know, one thing I hope, and I pray hard, the Lord, please don't give us a child with any kind of disability. Don't give me a child with disability. Because I really don't know how to take care of a child with a disability, and I don't want to. And you know what? I'm pretty sure the Lord hears my prayers. But the Lord sometimes has His own way and His own humor. I have 3 boys. Randy is the 3rd one. I have the first son. He's perfectly healthy. The following year, I have the second son. He is perfectly healthy. And 9 years later, I have Randy. When I had the first 2 sons, wow, my life was in the la-la land. They are healthy, they are happy, they are, I call them maintenance-free kid. Maintenance-free kid. Why? Because all I have to do is cook meal, and they're happy. They play with each other, they do their own things. And when they started school, they do their homework. They're very obedient, very easy. Whatever I cook, they eat. When time go to sleep, they go to sleep. So it's a maintenance-free kid until Randy came. Randy was born with Down syndrome. And then later on, we found that when he was a teenager, we found that he's legally blind. When he was born, for the first couple months, he was in and out of the hospital, and he was in infant intensive care for 72 days. And during that time, he has a terrible, very serious organ disorder, and that is a Down syndrome kid. He went through so many surgeries. And at that time, the doctor's prognosis about him was very, very poor. And the doctor told me one day, after he had a surgery, after surgery, after surgery, and the doctor said, Mrs. Chen, you just have to face the reality. This kid may not live. Even if he lives, he is not going to be a normal kid. He probably will not be able to learn. He will not be able to do a lot of things. And when a mother heard that, what do you think? My heart was broken. My heart was hurting and bleeding. And my situation at that time, I wrote a book about it. And in the book, I described that my situation was like a truck rolling down the hillside, and there's no brake. I can't even stop myself from going down, down, down. I felt that I was like a fly that been pinned on the walls. I can't move, I can't die, but I'm just there, being pinned on the wall, waiting to die. And And I remember one day when I was so sad, and I held Randy, I was feeding him, and he was so slow. He was so, no strength at all. I started crying. I knelt on the floor. I said, Lord, I told you I can't handle a handicapped child. Why you give me one? And here, this child, I just don't know what to do with it. And I was crying. My tears dropped on his face and dropped on the milk bottle. I cried so long, and finally, I was exhausted. Finally, I started to calm down a little bit, and a voice came into my heart. It says, don't worry. Just go be a mother. Give him all the new nurturing as a mother. Give him the protection like an angel. And give him the mentoring. Teach him like a good teacher. And carrying him like a good friend. Be a mother. Be an angel. Be a teacher. And be a friend. Somehow, that kind of voice just came into my heart. And I said, is that all I need to do? How about if he can't learn, he can't do this, he can't do that? And then the Lord said, just leave it to me. Just leave it to me. Well, that was 38 years ago. 38 years ago. And today I wanted to tell you what kind of lesson I have learned through this all 38 years. In this 38 years, by raising this child, the Down syndrome, legally blind, what did I learn? What did I learn from my life experience? I learned 3 things. Faith, hope, and love. Faith, hope, and love. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. Do not see. In the Living Bible, it has a very clear explanation about what is faith. It says it is the confident assurance that something we want is going to happen. Okay, it's assurance of something we want is going to happen. It is certain that what we hope for is waiting for us, and even though we cannot see it up ahead. So faith sees the invisible. What is invisible? There are so many things which is invisible. For example, you can't see electricity. You cannot see magnetic. Magnetic field, you cannot see it. Can you see somebody's potential? No, you can't see the potential. Is the potential there? Yes. Potential is ability in the dormant stage. Big gift from God. We cannot see potential, but through the responsibility and the determination, and more important is the faith. The potential can be developed into ability. One thing we cannot see, faith. Can you see faith? You cannot see faith. But we know faith is important, and we know faith has power. Why? You see the result of the faith, isn't it? You see the result of faith. Well, let me give you some story. When we first got married, I always say, my husband teased me and said, okay, now from now on, you handle the small things. I handle the big things. But I tell you, for all this 50 years, not that many big things. Most of them are small things, right? So mother has a privilege to learn from the small things. Small things. All right. So my example are all small things.
That's okay.
Like I said, Randy was born with Down syndrome. And one of the very common phenomenon for the Down syndrome person is they have trouble to talk because they have very arched palate. And since Randy was little, and I tried to correct him, and he can't pronounce that well, and I tried to correct him, and the school gave him the speech therapy. And Unfortunately, there is a limit. There are certain things that he cannot pronounce and he just cannot pronounce. Well, when he was little, we corrected him. But when he was a 10th grader, one day he said, Mommy, from now on I am going to my brother gave me 2 picture Bibles. I have already read them, and it was all falling apart. So from now on, I'm going to read King James Bible. And I thought, oh, yeah, he is going to read it. A teenager going to read the whole King James Bible. I said, all right, go ahead. So you know, that year, he has that King James Bible all the time. He read it from Genesis to Malachi, from Matthew all the way to Revelation. He read out loud the Bible for the entire Bible. And if he read it in school, he read it in home. If he can't pronounce the word, he listened to the tape and he tried to correct himself. And that year, his Bible knowledge increased. Not only that, there's something very miracle happened. A lot of the words Randy couldn't pronounce before, now he can pronounce. From the word, from the syllable to the word, from the word to the sentence, from sentence to the paragraph. He becomes better and better and better and better. And you know what? Now I look back. This is a miracle, isn't it? A teenager, you try to give a teenager, said from now on, you're going to read the King James Bible. Out loud. Do you think the teenager will do that? Probably not. After 3 days, the most, probably not. Well, Randy has that kind of the crazy mind. Well, crazy mind. All I can say is, when the Lord wants him to do something, to give the testimony, the Lord give him that kind of craziness. And from this craziness, the miracle happened. Not only his Bible knowledge increased, his speech articulation become better. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Faith sees the invisible. Faith sees the invisible. You cannot see it, but the power of the Holy Spirit is there. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay, let's say it together. Faith sees the invisible. Faith sees the invisible. All right. Now we're going to take a little break. And Randy's going to play one song. What is the song you're going to play? We can just play every other song. Okay, so I was talking about faith, hope, and love. Faith sees the invisible, right? We just talked about that. Faith sees the invisible. Now I'm going to talk about hope. That's the second lesson I learned. Hope anticipates the incredible. Hope, you can anticipate something incredible things going to happen. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31 said, "But those who trust in the Lord for help will find their strength renewed. They will rise on wings like eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not grow weak." Sounds like they have a lot of energy. Right? They can fly, they can run. When you have hope. When you have hope. Now, what is hope? What is hope? A Southern writer named Debbie Wilson said, "Hope is the opposite of despair. Hope is the opposite of discouragement. Hope is the opposite of impossible. Hope is the desire to overcome the odds. Hope comes within the heart and soul. Hope is striving to be as successful as possible. Hope is going forward even when it hurts. Hope is the expectation that things indeed will get better. For more than 30 years, I have a quote. I don't remember where I found it, but I like it, I cut it, and I taped it on my computer. It says, when the pathway seems long, when the temptation is strong, when your strength is almost gone, this is the time to press on. Now, when you have hope, what does the hope give to a person? When you have hope, your courage, you have the courage to define your goal and endurance to work toward it. You know, I often said, if your goal is very big, very clear, then you don't feel the bumpy road along the way. But if somebody doesn't have the goal, then what happens? All you feel is all the bumpy road. Well, I tell you, I'm a terrible bicycle rider. My husband knows that. If he ride in the front ahead of me, and he turn around and where is Bethel? Bethel has already fallen down. One of the reasons is I keep looking at the tires. I keep looking at the tires. I didn't look far enough. When you look far enough, when you ride bike, you have to look far enough. So you keep, yourself on a straight line. But if you keep on looking at the wheel, what happens? You fall down. The same way. If your goal is clear ahead of you, then you don't feel the bumpy road. But if you don't have a goal, you don't have a goal to pursue for yourself, then all you see is all those difficulties in the bumpy road. Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
When you have your goal, you create that kind of endurance. You create that kind of courage. You push yourself to keep on going. Like I said, the mother always learns from the small things. Here is another small story I'm going to tell you. And you just asked me how long Randy has been, did he teach himself? No, he had piano lesson for 20-some years. When we first started the piano lesson, that was difficult. We took him to Wilmington Music School. It was a 1-hour drive into Wilmington School, and then half-hour lesson, and then take another hour to come back home. And every day I said to Randy, you need to have 20 minutes practice time. And at that time, I did not know his eyesight is so poor. Like I said, he's a legally blind person. I did not know his eyesight was so poor. So every day he was practicing his piano. His face is almost touching the notes, and his hand is right under his chest. And he struggled. He struggled for 20 minutes. And then he said, well, I want my banana ice cream. Every day I have to bribe him with the banana ice cream. One day, after his practice, and I thought, well, this kid worked pretty hard. But in my mind, I thought, should we continue that piano lesson? I don't know where he's going with his piano. But I thought, well, maybe just try a little bit longer. So that day after practice, I thought, well, he tried pretty hard. I better give him some encouragement words. So I said to Randy, you're doing pretty good today. You know what? You do better than yesterday. And he was happy. Mommy said, I do better. So he looked at me and he said, smiled at me. And I said, you know why? I said, because you practiced yesterday, so you're better today. And I expected at that moment, he would just go to the kitchen and get his banana ice cream. Well, this kid sat there. That was unusual. He sat there, and then slowly he turned his face toward me, and he said, Mommy, will I be better tomorrow? Wow. Will I be better tomorrow? I said, you will. You will be better tomorrow. Do you know why? And he said, because I practiced today. I said, you got it. You got it. You practiced yesterday, you're better today. You practice today, you're better than tomorrow. You're better for tomorrow. You know, that day, like I said, I was thinking maybe I should terminate his piano lesson because I do not know where he's going with his eyesight and the way he practiced. And that day, I sit there for the longest moment. Tears start to stream down my face. I started to understand what is called hope. That day, from this little thing, I learned to know what is called hope. If a child can realize the one thing, if I do work hard today, tomorrow will be better than today, then he doesn't mind to put his effort for today, right? It's not only kids, but people work hard on their job. They work hard and they are hoping tomorrow or day after tomorrow and someday I can get a promotion. So if you have a goal, if you know tomorrow is going to be better than today, then you don't mind to work hard today. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true? So that day when I sat there, I started to think, and the thoughts started to expand in my mind. I started to think about those people that work. I started to think about the missionaries. Missionaries, some of them, they go to the very farmost place, even putting their life. Why they want to do that? Because they want to have a better tomorrow for people in that place, so they can hear the good news of Jesus Christ. Then I thought about Jesus himself. Why he has to come to the world and incarnate, become a baby and born and then went through all that and been crucified. Why? Why he has to do that? Because he wants us to have a better tomorrow, so that we can have an eternal life in the future, and we also have abundant life when we are on earth. Right? For a better tomorrow. So that moment from this little thing, I started to understand. I realized, this is called hope. This is called hope. Hope, you anticipate the most incredible thing. Incredible power, incredible endurance, incredible strength. You can faith, you encourage yourself, push yourself to move forward. And that is called hope. And that hope is strictly connected to a person's faith. The third one, and the third lesson I learned, love. I tell you, love is very powerful. Out of those three, love is the most important one. Love can touch the impossible. Love can touch the impossible. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, start from verse 4. You're probably very familiar with that, the scripture about love. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easy angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Let's say it together. Love never fails. Love never fails. You know, when a family going through any kind of the very big trial, for instance, like to have a child with a disability, the social worker tell me there are two phenomena, very common phenomena that happen. One is the family fall apart because they are going through a lot of stress. Another one is family comes closer. You either fall apart or you become closer. when I was in the nervous breakdown, like I said, when the doctor told me this kid can't do this, can't do that, I was on the edge of the nervous breakdown for many months. And then my husband kept on encouraging me. He said, Ethel, you know, this is a crisis our family going through. But don't forget, our 2 older boys are watching. They are watching us. If we handle this thing right, they will be benefited for their life. If we do not handle it right, it's a disaster for them. You know, like I said, my husband said that he handled the big thing, I handle the little thing, right? That's why he said that from now on, after we got married, he handled the big thing, I handled the little thing. But I think this is one of the big things he handled. He told me, he said, that we have to keep our focus on our faith, so that our faith, we can be a good example for our 2 boys. I got something to show you. I brought it in, brought here as a show and tell. It's here. You wonder what is this, right? 2010. 2010. Randy was invited by China to perform for the China's 5th National Special Olympics. They flew us to China, and Randy gave a testimony, and Randy played piano. That morning, before Randy gave his testimony, there is a group of people already came, and they waited for us. And they told us, you know, the book you wrote, in Chinese version, through the Special Olympics. By the way, Special Olympic, a lady brought about 80 books into China and distributed those books to different places through the Special Olympics. And one of the books got all the way to the westmost province, which is the Xinjiang province in China. And that province is bordering with Afghanistan. And that lady was from there. And she said, we read your book, and we read Randy's story, and we were very touched. And you know what? We were so inspired. And we have our children with a disability, but we kept them in home because of your book, because of the story. You wrote it in a book, and we read it, and now we're going to do something different. We're going to take our kids out from our home. We're going to form our own support group. And so she went on and on, and she said that, well, the best of all, I want to tell you, we are Christian now. We are Christian. So then she said, well, I'm going to call home, and they are going to send something special to you. You should receive it before you go home, during the time when you are here for the Special Olympics. And 3 days later, guess what? This is what I got. This is what I got. I want to show you. This is a very interesting thing. It actually is a lamb's hood. Lamb's leg hood. Okay? And this is letter from the lamb. I said, what is this? Randy doesn't ride horse. And she said, I want to tell you something about this whip. She said that this is a custom in our place in Xinjiang province. When a boy and a girl, they are dating, we have a custom. We have to get them on the horse. The boy's in the front, the girl's behind the boy. They're running. They're running. The girl's in the front, the boy behind her. So the girl go ahead, and the boys is following her, and the girl just run as fast as she can, and the boy on the back holding a whip, and keep on doing this. Keep on doing this. And if the whip touched the girl has to marry him.
That's wonderful.
The boy on the back,
Yeah,
if the boy going to like this,
yeah.
and then if the whip touched the girl has to marry him. And of course, they
girl
are
has what?
marry him.
Oh, marriage.
To marry him.
Oh.
And that's the way their custom of courting.
Oh.
It's like, presenting the engagement ring, right? This is the way they do it. The boys has to touch the girl on the horseback, and then the girl has to marry the boys. So I said, oh, yeah, this is beautiful, but what's that to do with Randy? And she said, this is a present for Randy. I said, what's that to do with Randy? And she said, in order to make this whip, a lamb has to be slaughtered. And the hood is made into the handle. The skin is cured to make the leather. And the rest of the skin is used to make this robe. So this is a sacrificial love. A sacrificial love. And she said, this represents the highest love to somebody. I said, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let me pass this. See if you want to see that. Let's pass it on. So Randy got this present from them, and they wanted to tell Randy how much we love you. I tell you, love touched the impossible. That is a place impossible for me to get there. Those are the hearts that they have kept their children in their home for days and for years and years and for generations. But because they heard the story, and then they became Christian, and then they wanted to share their love. And I could just feel that the Lord has blessed us, and our love has grown from our small family into you and into people far, far away in China. And I thought about, when I look at this whip, something special I thought about. Jesus Christ. What does the Bible say about Jesus Christ? He is the sacrificial lamb. Isn't it? He is the sacrificial lamb. He was slaughtered. He was crucified on the cross. He didn't stop there. He was risen for you and for me. Love touches the incredible. Well, we have so many stories about those to tell you. Another time, we were in Texas. There was a boy. He has speech impairment, and he said, "I really hate myself. I just can't talk right." And he said that the people encouraged me. I was so disgusted with myself. But then that day, he heard Randy's testimony. He saw Randy play piano, and you know what? He came to me with his tears rolling in his eyes, and he said, "I think I have the courage to try again. I have the courage to try." Love touches the impossible. So 3 things I learned in my life: faith, hope, and love. Faith sees the incredible, sees the invisible. Faith sees the invisible. Hope, expecting the incredible. And the love touches the impossible. Isn't that a beautiful thing? They are beautiful things. Let me ask you a question. When trouble strike us, when the trouble come to us, did God change? Does God change? No. Actually, the adversity increased our trust level in God by keeping us focused on His ability rather than our disability. You all know Helen Keller. Helen Keller has something I really like. He said that character cannot be developed in peace and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition ensured, and success achieved. In Romans chapter 5, verse 3 to 5, it says, "We know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and the character produces hope. And hope does not disappoint us because God has poured out His love in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, whom He has given us." Sometimes the difficult situation comes into our life. God is using us to teach us. I learned a lot of lessons, faith, hope, and love, through my life experience. At the end, I'd like to share a interesting something. I read it actually I saw it on the internet, and I thought it was really interesting. Here it goes. A guy, he is a sailor. One day he put something in his boat and he went out sailing. Well, it was a nice day, and he went out, and after a little while, well, the weather changed. The wind started to blow. The waves started to roll up. Unfortunately, his little boat actually capsized. Oh, he was so upset. And he's a good swimmer. And he saw some land, a little island not too far away. So he started swimming toward the island. And he got on the island and he said, I didn't see anybody here. Well, maybe I should swim back to the boat to gather some of my food, and I really don't know how long I'm going to be here. So he has some, simple food, and so he went back and he got his things to the island. One day went by, 2 days went by, nobody came, and he saw nobody. He didn't see anybody. So he thought, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Well, I'm going to pray hard. I'm going to ask God, send somebody to rescue me. So he prayed real hard. He prayed real hard. He's a good Christian. He prayed real hard. Well, then he became hungry. And he said, well, I need to have some shelter. So he gathered some branches and made a little house, little hut for himself. And he said, well, I really need some food. So he said, well, I'm going out and see if I can catch some wild rabbit or something, so I can cook for myself. I can make some food for myself. Well, he went out, and he was pretty fortunate that he got some rabbit, and he carried the rabbit, and he went back. He walked toward his hut. Guess what? He saw some smoke. He saw some smoke come out. He said, what is that? And he looked closer. Wait a minute. It looked like some fire. And when he got closer, he started crying. Guess what? His little hut, the little hut that he made for himself, as a shelter, was on fire. Oh, he was so sad. He was so sad. He thought, it's getting dark. Tonight I'm going to I won't have anything over my head. So he started crying. And he cried and he cried, and he was arguing with the Lord. He said, I prayed so hard. I asked you to send somebody to rescue me. Nobody came. Nobody came. I'm here all by myself. I built a hut. Even the hut is on fire. And he was arguing with God. And he becomes so tired. And he falls asleep. And he said, well, I think I'm just going to die in here. So he fell asleep. At dawn, he was still sleeping on the grass in the open air. No hut. And he heard some commotion around him. He opened his eyes. Well, here is a sailor stood next to him with the sailor's uniform. So he said, how did you get here? And that guy said, we were out, the ship, we have a ship, and the ship is out in the open sea there, and we saw something lighting, saw some lighting in here, and when we use our telescope and we look, it looks like it was on fire. Something on fire. So we sailed closer, and finally I come ashore, and here you are, lying on the ground with two rabbits next to you, and we saw you.
Were you the one that was?
This is an interesting story.
Oh, well, you were.
What am I trying to tell you? What am I trying to tell you?
Oh.
If the hut is not on fire, if the hut was not on fire, can the sailor see him?
Yeah.
Will the sailor be able to identify him?
Yeah.
How did the sailor come here? Why did the sailor come here? Because the sailor saw the fire, right? So if the hut was not burning, the sailor would not come to rescue, right? Okay. Did he pray? Did he pray that, Lord, send somebody to rescue me? He did. What is the way God used? Burn down his hut. Right? Burn down his hut. His hut was burning. So the sailor saw him and he was rescued. He was saved. 38 years ago. 38 years ago. My hut was burning because the birth of this child, because the birth of Raina. I went through very difficult time. My life was turning upside down. It was very difficult. I was on the edge of the nervous breakdown. My heart was burning. It was so bad, I thought it was hopeless. But you know, as the Bible said, book of Isaiah chapter 55 says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my way, declared the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways. My way is higher than your way, and my thought is higher than your thought. God's way is higher than my way. God's thought is higher than my thought. I asked, Lord, please don't give me a child with disability. God gave me one. Through the life, through the difficulties, I learned the lesson, most important lesson of life. And God gave us the ministry. And we have been doing this nursing home ministry 17 years now. Now, if we did not go through all this, we wouldn't have this piece of story to tell, isn't it? Isn't that true? We wouldn't have this piece of story to tell. We went through difficult times. And the Lord gave us enough strength. And His thought is higher than our thought. His plan is better than our plan. He has planned for my life. All I have to do is, for my earthly life, keep on learning faith, hope, and love. Faith sees the invisible. Love anticipates the incredible. And love touches the impossible. Okay, that's all I want to tell you today. Thank you. Let's bow our head and have a little prayer. Okay? Let's bow our head and have a little prayer. Lord, you did not promise that the sky is always blue, and our path is always smooth. But you promise us you will give us enough strength for everything we encounter. You taught us that in returning and resting in you, we shall be safe. And in quietness and confidence, you give us strength. You promise us that we can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. Lord, help us to love you as you love us. Fill us with your spirit so we can choose what is the best. We are weak, but you know that even when we are weak, you are strong within us. Thank you that you equip us to face each day with the power of your love, your forgiveness, and your grace. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Okay. This concludes today's program, and we're ready to go to pay Jesus loves me again. I'm going to shake hands, okay? Did you record